Hello and welcome. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Ankur Mishra and Ankita Saxena. A day where the indices have actually come off after the gain which was there in the opening. What do you make out of market currently?
Yes, Ankur, absolutely. As you pointed out, we have given up those morning gains. In fact, we are trading below the previous session's close now. We are below 550 or thereabouts. We are trading on the Nifty. We are in the red. We are trading with cuts of almost 0.3%. Nifty Bank also has recovered very marginally, 42 odd points recovery coming in from the day's lowest point, but nonetheless that is also trading in the red with cuts of 97 points. It's the PSU pack that is worth mentioning because the PSUs are firing on all cylinders. PSU banking names, they are trading with gains of more than 2%. Look at all the names like Maharashtra Bank, PSB, Union Bank, Punjab National Bank, IOB, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda. All of these banks are trading with gains of 2+%. So it's the PSU banking pack that is really holding the fort in this market. We also have the broader market that is outperforming the benchmark indices. We have both mid cap and small caps that are trading in the green. Mid cap trading with gains of 0.3%, 0.4% now. And for small caps, the uptick is coming in for 0.6%, more than 0.5% uptick coming in on small caps. So the broader end of the market is doing well, better than the benchmark of the frontline indices. Now, if you look at the sectors, there is the sectors, none of the sectors is really taking the lead as of now, except for the PSU banking pack that is taking it from the front, and Nifty Pharma that is in focus, of course, on the back of that big deal of Torrent Pharma's acquisition of 25,000 crore of JB Chemicals. So that is buoying the sentiment in the pharma pack. Auto pack is also in focus on the back of the auto sales number that will be coming out. But as of now, there is no sectoral leader as such. Nifty Realty is the biggest sectoral loser, trading with cuts of 0.5% thereabouts. And as far as the market breadth is concerned, it is still tilted in the favor of advances. Ankur, a muted day is what I would call it.
A muted day, definitely, but not so bad for mid cap, small cap, PSU banks per se. And this is a show where we answer all your stock queries. So please get ready with your queries to message on the WhatsApp. The number is flashing on your screen. And I have with me Rajesh Palvia as well as Gaurang Shah to answer all your queries. You can send your queries to 865794571. I'll repeat the number again, 86579744571. So you can post all your queries on this number and we'll try to answer most of the queries in this show. But welcome Gaurang and Rajesh to this show. Gaurang, I want to come to you on the breadth of the market. Although the broader indices, as Ankita was pointing out, looks in red, but mid cap, small cap still doing better. How do you see markets panning out today?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Good morning to all of you all. So my sense is that it is much needed profit booking or consolidation this morning that we are witnessing after last week's tremendous run that we saw, especially on Thursday and Friday. We needed to catch up on our breath after a tremendous rally post the calming down of situation in the Middle East. I think this week, possibly this week or in the next 10 days, we are going to have a couple of important triggers. First one will be, of course, the window period that was given of 90 days by President Trump. What is the final outcome, whether there is any or whether there's going to be an extension. Second one on the domestic front is going to be in form of earnings first quarter from 20th of July onwards or thereabouts. I think first quarter earnings is something that will be primarily very important to guide the direction of the market. But the bias remains on the higher side, given the levels that we have taken off last week and the levels where we are trading. We are able to maintain the level of 25,500. We've not gone below that as of now. Hope we are not giving up that level. And if I think that persists, then on the higher side, our assumption is that we could move towards 25,700 and 800. But it won't be immediately. I think we'll spend today, tomorrow in this kind of a narrow range. And eventually then on fallback of positive triggers, especially from the domestic front, we are likely to move upwards. Crude oil is down, rupee is stronger against the dollar. And the most important thing, the India Volatility Index, the last that I saw was below 13. So that sends you a signal in terms of volatility reducing to a great extent.
All right, much needed consolidation on the markets after the run up that we saw. So, bit of a breather coming in there, and important cues that we need to watch out for. Of course, that the decision on tariff is also out, so we will be watching out for all those cues very closely. But let's get going with all the stock queries and get them answered by our experts, Rajesh and Gaurang. Let me get the first query then. This is by Sunil from Punjab. He's bought Varun Beverages 50 stocks at a buying price of 610 rupees. He wants to know if he should average at current levels. Rajesh, let me come to you for this. He's already sitting at a loss on Varun Beverage. At these levels, should he be averaging in or should he really get out of the stock?
So I think looking at the near-term, short-term structure, stock is in weak trajectory and a series of low top, lower bottom formation is taking place in this counter. Stock is now trading below 250-day, 20-day moving average, so which is giving a sign of weakness in this counter. Now stock is trading near to its critical support area of 445, which is very crucial for the stock in this corrective move. If it breaks below those level, I think further more decline towards 400 we may see in the continuation of this down move. So average would not be the advice at this juncture. If you get any opportunity in pullback towards 480, 475 zone, I think where you can, try to exit from this counter, as still structure is weak, and I think a lot of hurdle to recover from current level. So major stiff resistance is placed at 480. So in pullback, try to exit.
That's the advice coming in for Varun Beverages. Next query from Cochin. Mr. George is asking on CESC. He holds 1,000 shares of CESC and also 500 shares of KEC International. He wants to know whether he should sell off CESC and buy KEC more. Gaurang, what would you advise?
Well, so before I give any stock-specific recommendation, let me give a disclosure. Whatever recommendations that I'm going to give on the show is part of our research team's views. Our company, Jujit or myself, we do not have any investment interest or financial interest, nor there is any conflict of interest, but we give similar recommendation to our clients. Possibly they might be holding their position from a long-term point of view. So to answer on CESC, while we used to cover CEST sometime back, but our team has put it in under review. So since it is under review, I won't be in a position to give a clear-cut buy, sell, and hold. As far as KEC International is concerned, this is one stock that has been in our positive coverage for a pretty long period of time. It's a small to mid cap kind of a cap goods engineering stock. We have a positive recommendation from a long-term point of view on KEC International.
Rajesh, will you advise on CESC?
I think stock is moving in upsloping channel on weekly chart, which indicates that there is a sustained buying action is taking place in this counter. Especially if we analyze on the last 3-4 month stock behavior, stock is making higher high low formation, which is a sign of sustained buying action on a monthly chart. So we believe that till stock is trading above 165, trend is likely to exhibit on the bullish side, and possible up move can extend towards 185 kind of zone for CSC.
All right, so that's the view coming in on CSC on the charts. But let me come to the next question. This is Bharti Dave, who's writing in from Gujarat. She wants to know for 3 years, she wants to know your view on Nestle. She's bought it at a buying price of 2640. She wants to know whether she should add or should she exit. Gaurang, let me come to you first on the fundamentals for Nestle. The FMCG pack, the FMCG basket, that entire basket has been an underperformer, right? For a counter like Nestle, what do you suggest for the next 3 years? Is it going to be a hold or should she be exiting this counter at this juncture?
Well, so I think first of all, short-term underperformance should not be a reason for you to exit from your investments, like in Nestle, in this case. Second is, of course, I was just reading a report that the monsoon has covered pan India 1 week before the date that was likely to be covered. Expectation of good monsoon will drive volumes on the higher side for FMCG companies when it comes to the consumption related demand from semi-urban and rural India. Along with that, you have a positive tailwind in terms of metros, tier 1, tier 2 cities. Our team has a hold recommendation on Nestle India from a long-term point of view. And I think the level at where she's got invested, the downside looks to be protected as of now.
All right, that's the view on Nestle. Next query is coming in from Qatar. Mr. Manoj is writing that he wants to know about Tex Maco Rail. He has purchased at a price of 138. Gaurang, what will you advise? He wants to hold for 1 year.
Well, so sectorally, we remain positive on the Indian Railways. Unfortunately, since our team, we don't have coverage on Texmac or Rail, I'm not in a position to give buy, sell, and hold.
Let me come to you, Rajesh, on Texmaco Rail. Why don't you take this question? For the next 1 year on the charts, what do you see for Texmaco?
So after consolidation of 3-4 months now, stock managed to give breakout of this consolidation range. Most of the railway stocks are in recovery mode since last couple of week. Looking at the sectorial behavior, we do believe that Texrail will also try to perform in this up move, and possible upside towards 195 to 200 we may see in the continuation of this up move. But yes, it may take time. It's a slow mover stock. At this juncture, I would advise to keep stop loss towards 165 if you are holding the position.
All right, so that's the view on Texmaco Rail. But let me come to you, Gaurang, for this one. This is from the PSU Bank basket. This is Bank of India. This is Mridula who's writing in. Wants to know your near-term view on Bank of India. She's bought it at a buying price of 124 rupees. What's your view on Bank of India and PSU Banks in general? Because PSU Banks have been doing well. In fact, in today's trading session also, they are the ones who are leading from the front.
Right. So this advice is not from a short to near term point of view or a medium term point of view. This advice is purely from a long term point of view. And on a long term basis, we have a positive side accumulate call on Bank of India. Our sense is that the entire BFSI segment, especially post the rate cuts that were announced earlier and very recently, along with the CRR cut of 1% in a phased out manner, likely possibility of credit demand picking up will give boost to loan book growth, and that will translate into earnings as far as the bottom line is concerned for the entire BFSI segment. That includes public sector banks, select private sector banks, and select NBFCs. So from a long-term point of view, we have an accumulate stance on Bank of India.
All right, that's the advice on Bank of India. Moving on, we have a query from Chennai. Sugumar is asking about Kansai Narolek. The price is 262, at which the purchase has been done of 702 shares. Wants to know whether hold, average, or switch somewhere else. Rajesh, what will you recommend?
So stock is underperforming stock in this segment, and stock is moving in down sloping channel on the daily chart. There is some sign of recovery from lower level, but still I think 260 would be the next resistance area for this pullback. So my advice would be to exit from this stock around 260 level. At this juncture, follow the stop loss of 240 to hold the position if you are willing to hold it. My advice would be to switch your position to Pidilite if you want to remain in the same segment. So Pidilite may give you a return in the near term to short term basis. So this stock is looking more promising. So I think Pidilite, you may get target towards 3150, 3200 going forward. So buy and accumulate would be the strategy for Pidilite, and keep your stop loss towards 2970.
All right, with that, it's time to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we are getting all your questions answered on the other side. Stay tuned. Then this question is coming in from Mohan, who's writing from Telshar, Orissa, a retired government employee. He says that he holds 7 shares of Dixon Tech at a buying price of 15,600 for the past 45 days. He wants to know if he needs to hold it or should he switch over to some other script. he is ready to hold it for the next 3 months. Rajesh, you should take this question. Dixon Tech for the next 3 months, is it a hold, or if he needs to switch it for some other counter?
So there was some significant correction in this counter, but looking at the near-term, short-term behavior of the price for this Dixon, stock is trying to absorb the supply pressure at lower level, and some recovery was already has been registered from this from the lower level. Now stock is negotiating with its 20-day moving average, which is placed at around 14,500, 14,550 zone. So I think if stocks manages to sustain above 14,550 450 zone, I think for 550 zone, I think there would be a chance that we may see a recovery towards 15,400 to 15,800 for this counter. So from oversold trajectory, there is a possibility that stock may give a pullback in next 1 or 2 month kind of time frame. So keep stop loss towards 13,700. Possible target 15,600 to 16,000 would be there in next 1 to 3 months.
All right, that's the advice on Dixon Technologies. For next query also, Rajesh, I want to come to you. This is about Gensar Technology. The viewer Pankaj from Haryana has bought a 550 share at 2132. What will you advise for a short-term view?
Talking about Zensar Technology?
Yes.
Okay, which is quoting at around 845. So looking at the structure, stock structure is looking bullish, and I think the way stock has moved up in last couple of week, there is a possibility that we may see further more higher level toward 960, 970, which is the previous swing high of Fab 2025. I think looking at the near term, short term, I think that would be the immediate target. So 960, 970 would be the next target. At this juncture, I would advise to keep stop loss towards 810 to hold the position.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Zensar Tech. But coming to the next question, V. Mathur is writing in from Delhi. He's a senior citizen and a long-term investor. Gaurang, this one's for you. He's been holding Eicher Motors for the last 10 years, Maruti for 8 years, and M&M for 7 years. Is it better to add to any of these, or a fresh buy perhaps in Ashok Leyland or Hero Motors? He looks like he's very bullish on the auto sector. And the auto pack is also seeing a bit of a recovery there. Gaurang, what's your take on the auto pack and his question?
Sorry, Eicher Motor, can you please
he wants to know if he should continue holding Eicher Motor, Maruti and M&M, or should he add more to these counters, or should he add in fresh buys into Ashok Leyland or Hero Motor?
Well, firstly, I think since he's a senior citizen, with all due respect, let me also advise him that too much of exposure to a particular sector or a particular company is also something that is not feasible in terms of discipline of investment. You have to diversify your investment into various sectors which are likely to do well. Now, unfortunately, I have no idea about how much exposure is this forming the overall portfolio in case if he's got any other investments in the stock market. But let me say this, Eicher Motors, M&M, features in our long-term coverage, including Hero MotoCorp as well as Ashok Leyland. But I will again reiterate, since he's a senior citizen, I think it is prudent to look at some other sectors. For example, we spoke about BFSI segment in the opening of the show. That looks very promising. Defense sector looks very promising. Cap goods engineering looks very promising. So my only advice is that don't ever overexpose yourself to a particular stock or a particular company.
All right, please keep this advice in mind, viewers. And moving on, next query from R. Ganesh from Bengaluru. And this question is specifically for Rajesh. He wants to know that he has a long-term holding of Garden Reach, HAL, PNB Housing Finance. But of course, he wants your technical check.
I think most of the stocks which you mentioned are in uptrend only. Garden Ridge, clearly there is a fresh breakout of rounding bottom formation on a weekly chart, which is a sign of fresh breakout after a long consolidation. So looking at the setup for Garden Rich, we do believe that till stock is holding about 2,850 level, there is a possibility of a higher target towards 3,400, 3,500 for the counter. HAL is also comfortably holding about to all its important moving averages. So here also we do have bullish view for the counter based on the technicals. Till stock is trading above 4750, I think trend is likely to exhibit on the bullish side. And on the higher side, 5200 would be the first target. And once it crosses, the next target would be around 5500 for HL. So I think both stock he may hold on if he's already bought at lower level.
All right, that's the view coming in Garden Reach, HAL, the defense pack. But moving on to the next question. This is Vijaya Kirthi is writing in from Chennai. He holds 300 Eruda shares at a buying price of 185, and now that's trading low. So clearly he's sitting at a loss. What's the prospect for the next 3 months? Rajesh, do you want to take from a short-term perspective?
So underperforming stock, and even in the recovery also, the stock is not able to participate in this kind of market also. Looking at the structure, the steep resistance or major supply zone is placed at around 184 zone. So until the stock not crosses these level, we may see furthermore underperformance or consolidation for a couple of months also. So my advice would be exit from this stock, as overall long-term structure is also on the weaker side. So in pullback around 180-85 zone, you should try to exit from this counter and try to shift your position in some other stock for investment point of view.
Moving on to next query. Next query is coming in from Ranchi, and Zenith is asking about Tata Power. He's holding 300 share of rights as well as Tata Power. What should she do? The question is directed to Mr. Rajesh, if you can answer.
So Tata Power, I think, hold the position. Stock is, showing strength, and the way stock is moving in upsloping channel on daily chart and comfortably holding about 20-day, 50-day moving average. We believe that this stock gradually will keep moving higher, and on the higher side, 445 to 460 would be the next target for the stock. At this juncture, one should keep stop loss towards 395 to hold the position in Tata Power. I think another stock is RITES.
That's right. Rights is the right stock.
So RITES is also showing sign of some recovery, and stock is now trading about 200-day moving average. Looking at the recovery on the near term perspective, keep stop loss towards 274. If it's not breaches this level, we may see furthermore upside towards 295 to 300, where you should again review the structure for the stock, or you may try to book some profit around 300 level.
All right, we'll get back to all the questions, but first let's take a look at all the headlines that are making the top news for today. Well, big reshuffle ahead in mutual fund stock classifications as per Nuvama Indian Hotels Solar.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, where you get all your stock queries answered with the help of our guest. We have with us Rajesh Palvia as well as Gaurang. Next query coming in from Bangalore, and the viewer Anant Naik is asking about Siemens. Gaurang, would you attempt to answer the query?
Well, sure, why not? Extremely, as I mentioned, in terms of earnings, defense, cap goods engineering, BFSI segment is likely to do well. Now, as far as his investment in Siemens is concerned, I think this stock had gone through very recently adjustment. One of the arms was hived off and listed as a separate entity. More importantly, the heavy electrical equipment business, which Siemens is likely to do extremely well, given the strong focus that the government has in terms of additional power generating capacity, traditional as well as clean and green energy, and along with that, most likely nuclear energy, which the Honorable Finance Minister spoke about in the budget. From a long-term point of view, our research team has a buy recommendation, so hold on to it from a long-term point of view.
All right, moving on then to the next question. This is also coming in. This is also for the long term, coming in by Manoj, who's writing in from Mumbai. He's bought 1,500 shares of Vodafone Idea at a buying price of 11 rupees. Gaurang, I'll stick with you. Talk to us about Vodafone and what do you see for Vodafone going ahead?
Well, honestly speaking, I think if a company which is into cellular service sector, and if you are losing client base every month for the last many years, if you are having troubles in terms of servicing your debt on the balance sheet, and if your ability to move on to the next level of telecommunication, that is 5G, is virtually on a very slow pace, I think there is a lot that you need to do in terms of your business strategy. Unfortunately, I don't recollect whether we have a coverage or not on Vodafone Idea, so I won't give any specific comments. But in terms of cellular provider company, two largest providers, Bharti Airtel and the cellular services, I beg your pardon. Uh, we like both these names, and Reliance Industries, because Geo telecom business comes under Reliance balance sheet. So we are positive on these two names, Bharti as well as Reliance, because of Geo mobility business.
Rajesh, what does your technical check says on Vodafone? Because this is a query for many viewers, and ever since the news flow have been there, especially the negative one after government did not give any kind of reprieve to Vodafone. Many of the queries have been coming in for Vodafone. So, what will you advise at this level? One should avoid because Manoj is clearly making loss at the buying price of 11 rupees.
So looking at the purely on the technical terms, there is some recovery from the lower level. Stock is now trading about to 20-day, 50-day moving average. Looking at the volume action, it's quite high in last couple of days at lower level. Uh, 8 rupees is the immediate hurdle for the stock on the higher side. If at all stock crosses above 8 rupees, I think then some short covering action we can see in this counter, and then upside move towards 8.50 to 9 rupees would be there. But looking at the breakout on the weekly chart, I think at this juncture, those who have already bought, though the viewer's query is because he has bought at higher level, but those who have bought at lower level can trail their stop loss now at 7 rupees 10 paisa. That's the stop loss one needs to follow. Those who have bought for very near term to short term perspective. If it's sustainable, continues to sustain above 7 rupees 10 paisa, I think 8 rupees to 8 rupees 50 paisa would be the next target for the stock.
All right, moving on to next query. Krishnan from Chennai is asking about ITC, and he wants to know, is it good to hold? He has 500 shares. Gaurang, what will you advise?
So again, from a long-term point of view, our research team has a buy recommendation on ITC. Of course, we very recently saw again a corporate development in form of hotel business for ITC getting hived off and lifted as a separate entity. We spoke about Nestle earlier in the show, which also happens to be an FMCG company. ITC, we believe, will do extremely well. Forget about the tobacco and cigarette business. Our sense is that minus that, there are possibility of scalability on the higher side, given the demand as far as the FMCG products are concerned. So we are positive on ITC from a long-term point of view. Hold would be the call.
All right, hold call coming in on ITC. But moving on to the next counter, this is Karthik who's writing from Hyderabad. He's holding 245 shares of Adani Ports at a buying price of 1,310 rupees. He wants to know if he should book profit or hold on for a longer period of time. Gaurang, let me come to you first. And then Rajesh, I'll get to your senses for the next 6 months also he wants to know. So first, Rajesh, tell us what do you see for Adani Ports on the fundamentals, and then I'll come for the technical view.
I think one should hold the position as there is a fresh breakout of, on the weekly as well as on the monthly chart. And looking at this breakout, we do believe that, upward momentum is likely to continue further. Possible target towards 1540 to 1580 would we may see in the continuation of this up move. So hold the position. Stop loss, I'll suggest around 13980 should be your stop loss. Target is 1500 to 1540.
So coming to you, Gaurang, then on Adani Ports, what's your view?
Well, I'm sorry, I won't be in a position to give a comment because we don't cover Adani.
All right.
All right, moving on to next query, and it is coming from Nikhil Sharma from Mumbai, who wants to know about Crompton. His buying price is 357 and target he's holding is 372. Rajesh, what is your technical check saying? Is his assessment right?
Yeah, I think he can continue with this stock. There is a fresh breakout on the daily chart, falling trend line breakout. The stock is now trading above 20-day moving average, now negotiating with its previous swing high. So I think any move above 361, 60, 362 can take this stock higher towards 375, 380 zone also. So hold the position with stop loss of 348 and target is 375 to 380.
All right, on that note, we are completely timed out in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Gaurang and Rajesh, thank you so much for taking the time out.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.